Happy Friday, March 17th, 2023. St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick, it's his day today. And let me put this on cruise so that I'm not distracted with a foot pedal. I have no dog distractions in here today, so that's a good thing. A lot of people, it's cold out right now. It's windy and there's a parade at like 11 o'clock. It's going to be cold, but a lot of the bars are opening at 8 a.m. So they're open, baby. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it that early. It's an all-day affair, and I have things to do. I can't do it, so I got to save it for happy hour at 4 p.m. Central. We're going to have St. Patrick's Day happy hour celebration today. Like Quentin Lisa's YouTube channel. Check us out at 4 p.m. Central Time. I might, just besides the green shirt, I might have some other gear or paraphernalia to wear. Paraphernalia, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, a lot of things happening. You know, the big news is Taylor Swift is kicking off her tour in Arizona. I think they renamed the city, it was Glendale, I think, out in Phoenix area. I think they're renaming it Swift City. I mean, it's so exciting. You know, it's just like the event of a lifetime. I see people saying this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I get to go see someone sing on stage and perform. If that's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you, you might want to come back and get a do-over, because I mean, I like Taylor Swift music. You know, I'm going to be honest. You know, I do. I like listening to her music. Would I fight for a ticket? I remember the whole ticket fiasco, trying to buy a ticket, and they were getting scalped, Ticketmaster and whatever, the whole service, charging just ridiculous amounts of money for tickets. People are crying because they couldn't get tickets. My life's over. It was a ridiculous amount of money. It really was. But that's what they want to put their energy to. It is what it is. No, I mean, I like listening to Taylor Swift. I do. I remember when she was in a pickup truck. Was Tim McGraw the first song? I don't even know. No, maybe it was. Like Tim McGraw. She was in the pickup truck. She was like 15 or 16 making the video. And I knew at that point, I'm like, this girl's going to be a star. Just had that vibe. And look at her. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I think George Soros, because she made a big deal out of it, George Soros bought her songbook, you know, I don't know, the songbook, you know, all her songs. I don't know if he bought it from the record agency she signed with or what it was. I remember getting ticked off. She had a speech about it. You know, she was up and had it on the microphone. You have to find it and look it up. But, yeah, I think it was George Soros. Like, maybe it was just him or one of, I don't know. One of the vampires bought the songbook. Who knows? Anyway, enough of the Taylor Swift stuff. St. Patrick's Day today. The funny thing is, I see that there are bishops in the Catholic Church that are giving a reprieve today. You know, because usually during Lent, you're not supposed to eat meat, even though you can eat fish that's not considered meat, even though it has muscles. Anyway, he's giving a reprieve because, you know, corned beef and cabbage, you know, the beef stew, you got all this stuff going on St. Patrick's Day, and it's on a Friday this year, and usually Fridays during Lent, you have to sacrifice and not eat meat, even though you can eat fish. So some of the Catholic bishops are saying, well, you know, just do a good deed, and, you know, you can eat meat today. They're giving permission, and that was the word, because the Catholic diocese, or whatever it's called, you know, the jurisdictional control grid, your religious control grid that's up there, he's not granting, I think it's a he, what difference at this point does it make, though? I do have some questions about some people on their gender, and my problem is I don't know. I mean, I can usually tell, but more and more I'm having a hard time determining if someone's male or a female. I don't know if it's because they willfully want to look like they're androgynous, or if it's just, I don't know, something in the water or the food. But I'm having a hard time. I really am. There's a couple of people to where I'm not going to say who they are, but privately, if we're talking, I'll ask you your opinion, because, man, I don't know. I really don't know if it's a male or a female. And I don't know if they're trying to be that way or not. It's just that, and then, I'm just like, how do you address somebody like that? It's like, oh, I guess you can't be, oh, have a nice day, sir. Have a nice day, ma'am. Have a nice day. I mean, you just can't do it, because you just have to say, have a nice day. I'm just going to be gender agnostic. I don't know, what do you call it? I'm just going to not pay attention to gender. And I'm just going to say, and that's the thing, though. You can't even like, hey, man, you can't even say that. It says, okay, how many times do you say to girls? I hear it all the time. Hey, you guys need to do this. Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, it's just a thing. And to girls, my wife's even said it. Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, to my daughters. And I hear it all the time. And I mean, I guess that reminds me, that carrion on the road, that dead raccoon reminds me of, these birds are going to get hit. They're sitting on the road. Jeez. But I mean, you know, think of the people who get offended. You know, I've seen the videos where it's like, don't refer to me as sir. And you don't mean anything by it. You're just like, hey guys. Speaking of hey guys, here's Mitch backing up. Hey guys, what's up guys? Hey, what's up? So you've got you know, you can't even say, hey guys. You know, people will get offended now. Whatever. I don't even know how I get off on these tangents. Oh yeah, the Catholic Church, and I didn't know if it was a male or female bishop. So he's saying nope. That person is saying nope. We're not going to bypass the not eating of meat today. I'm not giving you permission to have a reprieve on St. Patrick's Day in Chicago. And I think one of the other ones in a town, Springfield, Illinois, is doing the same thing. They're like, no, we're not giving you a reprieve. Then other places are like, yeah, reprieve. We give you permission. And that whole thing of asking for permission, to me, just my opinion, is ridiculous. I always say trust yourself, because you are a direct conduit to your creator. Okay? We're connected, made in the image of God. Why do you need a middleman or a middlewoman or a middle neuter? Why do you need that? But I hear that, you know, people still ask for permission. I mean, why? Why are we still following? Why are we still following the rules? You know, of the structures that have been put in place to essentially manipulate and divide and conquer us. I don't know. Whatever it is. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day. That's why everybody goes out and gets drunk. They want to forget about all this madness. They want to forget about all the bad things that are happening. The fact that you've got the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, going and meeting with Russia next week, and the U.S. is concerned. You know, the U.S. doesn't want them to give Russia any weapons to fight in the Ukraine, and it's just, and then they want Xi Jinping to give Zelensky in Ukraine, you know, hear the other side of the story. You're going to hear Putin's side. Now you need to go to Ukraine and hear that side and find out how you too can launder money and, you know, get kickbacks. So that's going on. I mean, it's just constant warmongering, constantly trying to foment something, and, you know, the drone thing. I mean, it's just nonstop trying to pull you into war. And it's just, I'm just disconnecting from it. I'm just, you know, people are worried about it. Oh, what if we go to war? And, you know, don't go. You know, at some point, you just stop following orders. That's my whole point. You quit fighting for the system. You realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not a constitutional war, not declaring war. We're just going to go do it. No, I'm out. No, unplugging from the vampire system. Vampire casino, walking out, not doing it. So there's that garbage going on. The banks, the whole banking thing, I'm going to get into that because, you know, we need to talk about crypto a little bit. My Litecoin experience. I got so many things in my mind right now. The carrion on the road. Let's get to that. You know, since we're talking about war, you know, the Puritans, I guess it was, you know, and a lot of religious types, you know, some of the first people who came over here to settle America, first Europeans, I should say, in our history books, who came over here were, you know, the Pilgrims, you know, and then you had some Puritan influence, and they looked to nature, and they believed that there were lessons in nature that could be taught. The woods are bad. They're scary. You know, dark things live in the woods. That's where the devil lives, you know, Nathaniel Hawthorne stuff. And they would see, when they'd see nature, like a bird fighting a snake or something, you know, they would see the bird winning, and that would be a sign that, oh, that's God overcoming, you know, the evil one, that kind of thing. They'd see symbolism in nature. They'd see signs, which is a great movie by Mel Gibson. Watch that. Swing away, Meryl. Swing away. No coincidences. It's a good movie. So they would see things in nature. So the other day, you know, there's roadkill on the road. There's a raccoon that got killed and hit just half a mile from here. That's what I just drove by. And I was with my wife. We're driving. We're like, what is that? It's a bird, you know. First I'm thinking it's a turkey vulture, because you see them, they fly really high up, and any roadkill, you know, they'll come down and you'll be feeding on it on the road, and then they fly off, and ugly creatures. So I thought that's what it was, leaning over, eating the carcass of this raccoon. What symbolism is there in that? Well, it wasn't a vulture. It was a bald eagle. And if you've ever seen a bald eagle up close, they're big birds. Beautiful birds. But you've got this bald eagle leaning over, you know, eating pulling the meat off this dead raccoons. And it was there a couple of days. It wasn't a fresh kill, because I'd seen it on the road. And I'm like, wow. So I pull over, you know. So I'm like, I get out, and it flies off. I'm like, dang it. I was going to take a picture of it, or a video. But I don't know. Maybe there's some symbolism there. You know, you've got this bald eagle, which I didn't even realize that they were, you know, they would eat dead animals. I thought, you know, you always see them diving after fish, you know, and eating live things. I didn't know an eagle would, you know, eat dead stuff that's been there, roadkill, after a few days. But I guess, you know, the eagle's opportunistic, which takes us back to what I was talking about with the war situation. No, there's symbolism in everything. And I don't know, maybe there's some symbolism there, you know, the bald eagle feeding and feasting on, you know, dead, rotting flesh of a raccoon that was hit by a car. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe not. It is what it is. It was just interesting to see a bald eagle. And you get a lot of them around here because of the river. It's not too far. And they'll migrate. You know, it's a little late right now for them to be migrating. But, yeah, they'll nest along the rivers, and you'll see them once in a while. But I've never seen one this close to where I live. Wow. Anyway, crypto. My experience with the whole crypto thing, I told you last Friday I made 2 purchases, one off of PayPal, one off of Coinbase. PayPal showed up a couple of days ago, so it was about 5 days after I made the ACH transaction out of my bank account. You know, you purchase it, you think you're purchasing it. Well, you got to wait 5 days before you can withdraw it. You know, and some people, they'll buy it and it's like, oh, yeah, it's there right away. I'm like, okay, what does there right away mean? Because it was there right away in the account. Showed the Litecoin, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't take it out. I could sell it back to them, you know, take cash, you know, profit, whatever. But I couldn't withdraw it, and that's my whole thing. I want to withdraw from the Vampire Casino, and so it took 5 days. All right, so Coinbase, it's very interesting. My good friend Weird Wendell put out a tweet and said, hey, you know, I purchased something on March 9th on Coinbase, and I'm not able to withdraw it. You know, he tags Coinbase and Coinbase support on Twitter to get their attention. And then they're like, oh, we're sorry. You know, here, reach out to us and send us a DM. Please don't talk about this publicly. You know, they don't want to do that because they know what can happen. So I chimed in and said, yeah, you know, I bought some March 10th and still don't have it. You know, 6th day now. And I get the whole ACH clearinghouse thing and how the banking system is basically inefficient and can't make real-time transactions, which leads me to another topic. Oh, man. Anyway, after he posted that tweet, and they're like, oh, DM us. And I'm like, no, I just explained it in the feed and, you know, publicly so everybody can see it. This is how it's gone. And, you know, it's kind of silly. Not 2 hours after that, probably an hour after that, because I checked, the funds were available. The Litecoin could be withdrawn. He said the same thing. Oh, I can withdraw it now. And I'm like, all right. It's just coincidental. I mean, awfully coincidental that after you reach out publicly and tag them, and then all of a sudden you're able to withdraw. But how do they tie Weird Wendell? How do they know on Twitter that Weird Wendell equates to the name that's signed up in Coinbase? Same with me, you know. Is my name on Twitter, my handle, the same as my real name? And how do they tie that in? I don't know. It's just really coincidental that, you know, it was available. So 6 days, Coinbase, I was able to withdraw my coins, put them into my own wallet. So going forward, think about this. When there's a panic to get cryptocurrency, because there will be a panic to own it. Because when things are crashing, you're going to want to put... People aren't going to care. They just want to get something that they know isn't going away. And they'll look at crypto and say, oh, yeah, and the narratives will be out there. Oh, Bitcoin's been running since 2009. Oh, it's sovereign money. And see, all the narratives will shift, and it'll be this panic to flood everybody into it. Because, see, the vampire casino wants to make money off of it, too. And they want to get more of it. So, you know, they want to pump it up, and then they'll pull the rug on you and take cash, and then they'll dump it, and you'll be all depressed. And then when it dumps like it did, you know, a month ago, you could have bought it really cheap. That's when they're buying it. And now they're going to pump it up again. They'll take profits out, and then, you know, you'll sell it because you're scared, and then they'll come back in when it's low and buy it again. It's all manipulation, all right? But it's a manipulation of you. It's manipulation of your fears, your energies. At some point, hopefully, people get to the point that I and many people I know get to where it's like, I don't care, I'm just buying it, and I'm going to hold it. I'm taking it out of the system, and I'm leaving it out of the system. And there's only so much to go around. At some point, not going to have any available, except for the people who hold it. All right, so when there's a panic to own, the point is, it's going to take you 6 days on Coinbase to get it. It's a long time when you're panicking out of your 401k, your IRAs, you know, your savings accounts, and trying to get into some sound money for the digital age. 6 days is a long time. I mean, think of the panic. It's like, oh, my money, where's my money? It's going to be safe. So that's a slow way to get it. And 5 days on PayPal. Now, you can buy it off the Fold app, which I've been doing that. It's easy to buy Bitcoin off there. I mean, the rates are pretty reasonable. I don't think they charge a fee. It's very close to what the spot price of Bitcoin is when you buy it, but you can only buy Bitcoin. You can withdraw it to your own wallet. It took me like 2.5, almost 3 days from the point that I withdrew it and authorized the withdrawal before it was actually available and I could take it off into my wallet. So about 3 days. And then when you buy it, it's pending like a couple of days, you know, while you're buying it. So it's kind of a slow process too. So overall, like if I were to buy it today, it probably wouldn't be available until Wednesday or Thursday of next week to withdraw. That's just how long it takes. Now, CashApp, if you've got a CashApp card, I don't even know you need a card, just the Cash app. I don't think, maybe you do need the card. I think you do. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's how my daughter dollar cost averages Bitcoin. You know, she'll just throw a little bit of money into Bitcoin on the Cash App and Fold card. I think she does it on Fold too, but I'm pretty sure it's Cash App. But anyway, I did it last night. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy, what was it, like $30 worth of Bitcoin on Cash App just to test it out. So I bought it. Fees were a little bit higher. I mean, you got a little less Bitcoin than you did maybe on Fold. However, I could withdraw right away. And you've got a choice of fees. You know, you could pay a higher fee, you know, so the network, Bitcoin network picks it up quicker. It goes to the miners. You know, a medium-sized fee or just the cheapest fee, which is barely nothing. It's basically free. I took the cheapest route. And it was in, I don't know, it was a few hours. And I had my Bitcoin in my wallet. So it didn't take long. Now, if you want it quicker, you can do that and pay a little bit of a fee. But, you know, at $30, it was like $2.50. So, I mean, you know, you're almost 9% or something. But if you've got more money in there, that fee's not going to change. You know, it's just the fee to the network. So if you got $30,000 in there, it's still probably only going to be $250. So it's a no-brainer at that point. And then you're assured to get it. But when network congestion and Bitcoin gets clogged up, I mean, there's only so much room in every block of transactions. I mean, you're going to be paying higher fees. So, you know, when everybody's coming into it, it's going to cost you more money to make that transaction. But that was the quickest by far as getting it. And so immediately, what do? I want to swap it into Litecoin. I wish I could just buy Litecoin directly through CashApp or the Fold card. CashApp would be ideal the way they operate, but it is what it is. I'm just giving you experience on, or some knowledge on, my process, what I went through. The fastest place to buy it was on CashApp, and you could withdraw it right away. So that was nice. I think as we go forward, my point in rambling about all this, as we go forward, we're seeing that the FEDNOW is coming out in July. They've announced it. We're going to have instantaneous transactions. Think CBDC when you hear that, central bank digital currency. Because right now, my experience with doing ACH transactions and having to do that, you're looking at quite a while to clear that payment to buy crypto. And the reason why is it's just not an efficient system, because there's all these methods of how things have to be sent behind the scenes. It goes through different banks, and anyway, there's a lot of trust involved. They have to trust each other, and so that's why it takes so long, because they want to make sure it gets there. It's not trustless. So you can't just say, oh, okay, make a transaction. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to trust anybody because you know it's going to work. It's not that kind of system. Cryptocurrency is that kind of system, and that's why it's so valuable. And that's why as we go forward, that's why I say it's sound money for the digital age. That's why I say Litecoin is specifically sound money for the digital age, just because of the features that it has built into that blockchain. You've got privacy with MWeb. It's a big deal. So you don't have to trust that transaction is going to make it where it needs to go. It's trustless. I don't have to trust it because I know it works. The code makes it work. I mean, it's clearly defined. Every time you send a transaction in the Litecoin network, it gets where it needs to go. Now, you can screw it up and type the address in wrong or scan the wrong code. Or, you can make, it's like giving cash to the wrong person, Same thing. But it works. It works. Right now, the banking system does not work in real time. There's too much fat. It's too archaic. It's too much built on top of too much. And that's why we have these problems. Waiting 6 days for something to clear. Give me a break. That's just stupid. Stupid if we think we're living in a digital age. That doesn't work. You need something that works. DigiByte, every 15 seconds, a block of transactions. Okay, now we're talking. So they're going to roll out the FEDNOW so that they can have instantaneous transactions, which makes sense. I'm like, all right, I'm all for that. That's a great thing. That's what should be happening now. The problem is they'll end up tying it to the CBDC. And part of this whole thing with stable coins, I'm talking about a lot today. I got to wrap this up. Part of the thing with stable coins, you saw them depeg from the dollar last weekend when the SVB bank was kind of crashing. Because they had funds, USDC coin, stable coin stuck in there. Anyway, but it panics like, oh my God, this is not one-to-one anymore. And so I think you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more attacks on these stable coins because a central bank that controls the currency doesn't want you operating outside of their system. But they understand that they're going to need some kind of digital currency that's pegged to the dollar. So they'll have a central bank digital currency. And they'll say, hey, it's always going to be worth $1. These other coins, look what happens to them. They get depegged, devalued. And look for, operations to make that happen behind the scenes, to scare people out of it. And so they're going to scare them out of it. And they're going to say, that will be the stable coin. So you're like, oh my God, Bitcoin just doubled. It went to $50,000. I need to take some profit, And so instead of going into these other stable coins like Tether, USDC, whatever, you're going to go into the CBDC. Because right now you have to go into dollars, into cash. And, that's a little cumbersome transferring it back and forth in the bank, whatever. It show up tomorrow maybe. If you can just go into CBDCs, it's like, okay, it's just like holding a crypto coin. It's very liquid. It's very easy to use. And you just go, poof, bah, now I got $50,000, or 50,000 CBDCs. And I can do whatever I want with those. I can move those in the bank. I can go pay with them. Everybody takes them. And they just want to usher that system in to make it easy. To make it easy to go back and forth between crypto. And And the old system, you know, all the dollars, you just transfer them into CBDCs. Everything will be fine. It's much more efficient, you know. All the, you know, dirty money, cocaine money, you don't want that. So I see that coming. I mean, they're definitely going to try to roll that out. And so they're going to be pulling shenanigans on St. Paddy's Day. They'll have some shenanigans to where they're going to try and scare you that the current stablecoin system is it's a little shaky, you know, and the banks might be a little shaky. This is what we need to do. We're gonna centralize it and have a Fed bank. I mean, they may very well do that. What purpose do the banks serve at that point when you have the central bank digital currency? You just say, all right, all of it's this. And all these banks, you know, you don't even need accounts there anymore. You got a FEDNOW account, and everybody's got a FEDNOW account. Direct conduit from the government. And you can trade anywhere. You can purchase anything anywhere. It's you know, the full faith and credit of the United States. And it's legal tender, so you can tender it anywhere. Tender that debt. I mean, it maximizes efficiencies. It centralizes control. Why do you even need banks? What purpose would they serve? Like right now, what purpose does a bank serve? I mean, I drive through the ATM to get some cash because, you know, you still use cash. What if you don't need to use cash and everything's electronic and everything's CBDC? At what point do people say, I don't even need the cash? Your cash is going to be Litecoin or DigiByte or Bitcoin. You know, you'll save in those things. And if it gets to that point where the awareness comes to where everybody's using that CBDC because it works, and they'll make it work. They'll be like, oh yeah, it works fine, you know. And they won't be crazy at first and clamp down on you. They'll do that later once everybody's in the system. Then that vampire casino, the new vampire casino, bigger and better. Once you're in that, I mean, that will be your only way to really save anything outside the system as far as money. I mean, you won't have cash. They'll just gradually get rid of it and get rid of it and get rid of it. Right now, look at your bills. What's the most recent date on any, you know, U.S. Federal Reserve note? It's 2017 as far as I can find. Challenge you to find something newer. I don't think they're making any more bills. So you're going to get locked into that system and, you know, coaxed into that system. It'll be easier. And, you know, well, we're not going to have all the problems we did in the past with, you know, all these stable coins. We're not going to have the problems with the banks. You know, we've got it covered at a central level. The Fed is going to handle it with the FEDNOW. And the government, the United States government will have a, you know, back the CBDC, whatever, full faith and credit, you know, and all that garbage. And they'll make it easy. And so you're going to want to, when you save something, you'll say, hey, you know, I'm going to save it in Litecoin. I'm going to save it in Bitcoin. I'm going to save it in DigiByte. I'm going to save it in these cryptocurrencies because we'll be comfortable with it then. Most of the people will be comfortable with it. And they'll want something that's got a fixed supply. Hey, there's only so many of these. I want to save in those. And they'll let you do it. They'll probably put limits on it. They'll gateway it to where you can only get so much of it. And you're only going to be able to get so much of it. And the reason why is because if you look at the current supply of Bitcoin, there's over 19 million of them, and there's only 21 million that can ever exist. And the production of those gets smaller and smaller and smaller through what's called halving, you know, the transactions. The blocks of transactions, you get less Bitcoin to the miner. It halves, you know, the reward. Same with Litecoin. It's going to halve in August. It's going to go to 12.5 Litecoin per block to 6.25 Litecoin per block. So there's over 72 million Litecoin that have been mined out. There's only 84 million that can exist. Most of the Litecoin, the vast amount already exists. So as more people come to the table and we go full digital and they want to save into something, they're going to pick Bitcoin, Litecoin, you know, other cryptocurrencies, proof of work that have been around for a long time and that have a fixed supply. Problem is there's not new supply coming into the market, very little. And so what's out there is going to become more scarce and price go up. You're going to take more CBDCs to buy it. And it's just, that's what's going to happen. Again, it's a big pie and there's only so many slices. And as more people come to the table, there's just crumbs left. And you're going to ask somebody, well, can I have some of your pie? And you'll be like, I kind of like my pie. I'll give you one bite, but it's going to really cost you. You got a car? I mean, and that's the situation you're going to be in. I mean, it's so clear to me. And I harp on it and harp on it. I mean, 84 million Litecoin is only enough for 1/100th of a Litecoin per person in the world. So when we're going worldwide, and the CBDCs will be worldwide, they're testing it now. They'll all integrate. There may be a master CBDC, whatever, covers the whole globe, the SWIFT system, CBDC, whatever. It doesn't matter. They'll all be interchangeable. It's like cryptos now. You want to go out and swap them on an exchange, it'll be the same thing. You'll just be able to do it, boom, right in your FEDNOW wallet, transfer. It's just going to be easy. Because that's where it fails, which it probably will, but they got to make it easy. And so at that point, if you're looking to save some Litecoin and you want to put your CBDCs into something that, really has value that you can store up, good luck getting it. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. All right, I've rambled enough. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Join us on happy hour at 4 p.m. Central Time. And if you've got any thoughts on any of this, I'm just trying to visualize where they're going with this system. And I just know that it's all going digital. They're telling us that. They're telling us that. July, the FEDNOW comes out. FEDNOW, go look it up, see what that means. It will be here. I mean, don't you think if they're like pushing you into this digital payment system, the alternate digital payments already exist. I mean, the digital money's already out there. Bitcoin's been around since 2009. Litecoin's been around since 2011. DigiByte's been around since 2014. I mean, these things have been running and working for years. Don't you think once they usher us into the full-blown digital system that there's going to be that thirst for, okay, what digital assets do I really need? Look at what happened with NFTs, and people went nuts. I need this. I need it. When the masses of people wake up and realize that all our money is digital, they're going to be looking for those assets, those scarce assets, digital assets, just like they did with NFTs. It's one of one. I need it. It's just human nature. You want things that have some value, that some of your neighbor might not be able to get, or not as many. It's just what we crave. Some the rabbit back there hopping around. It's just nasty out today. I have to start the heat in the bar, before I go out there. I come out here at noon, get it fired up. Anyway, happy hour today. We'll talk about any of these things. If you've got comments, leave comments. You got questions, you got, what are your opinions on this stuff? What do you think? I'm just trying to, like I said, put it all together. Interesting world. We can all navigate it, though, and that's the thing. We got to be prepared for it, kind of see where things are going, and get ahead of it. That's why it's so important to get into the sound cryptocurrencies now while they're cheap, and they are cheap. I mean, and that's why I look at Litecoin. I'm like, it is definitely inexpensive compared to Bitcoin and for what it does. It will see its true value at some point. Will it take, rolling out digital money and CBDCs before people will see that? Yeah, it may take a lot longer than that. I don't know. I just know that I know I need to be there. I know that's where I need to be. It just makes sense. The fundamentals are all there, running for over 11 years, nonstop. And the tools that are being built on it right now. See, anything Bitcoin can do, Litecoin does better. And I mean, that's just a fact right now. Bitcoin comes out with ordinals, boom, port it over to Litecoin. Cheaper and faster. Same thing. I mean, it's just same code, essentially. It's just one has 4 times as many, and that's Litecoin. But it's not a fourth of the price. It's way undervalued. And I know that. So, sticking to it. All right. Love you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. You got to trust yourself. Seek out those things, I love DigiByte too. I mean, I like Bitcoin. It's just overvalued. It's like gold. I would rather buy silver than gold. It just doesn't make sense to buy gold to me. You don't have the money to buy gold. When you got something that functions the same way, silver. Way undervalued. And it will find its true value at some point, and you'll look like a freaking hero. Same with Litecoin. All right. Trust yourselves, though. Do your own research. I'm just trying to give you some information to maybe wake you up and take you down a path that you weren't looking to go down. And, you go down there and you say, you know what? this might be the right path. But you got to decide that. You got to trust yourself, trust your instincts, follow your gut, and don't allow, or I should say, don't let someone tell you you need permission. Go right to the source. You don't need a middleman or a middle person. All right. Hope to see you on Happy Hour, 4 p.m. Central Time. Trust yourselves. Love you all. Happy St. Patrick's Day.